All right. So Nicholas, just so you know, your microphone is hot, so anything in your background, etc., we will be able to hear it. So you may want to shut that down just in case. And then if you want to talk, you could turn that on. Um, so my name's Mr. Haley, and welcome to Computer Concepts. And I know this is a class everybody was waiting for. It's like, no, I don't want those fun classes. Throw me into an online computer course. That's what I want, right? Yeah. Well, I know better than that. Just so you know, it's okay to laugh in this class. It's okay to unmute your mics and ask questions at any point in the class. It is your classroom, so you can do that. You can drop messages in the chat box down there. I do run multiple screens, so when I am talking, I and demoing, the one screen doesn't show it, but I try to look over there and see if you're dropping things in there. I promise you, I'm not watching TikTok videos on that other screen. If I was, I'd be laughing more and be a little more distracted. And so I'm going to go through and explain how this class works, how you can make this class work out better for you. And oh, Raphael, you're very loud on that mic there. And so unless you're going to be doing some heavy flows for us and be knocking out some monstrous rhymes there, step it back just a little bit there. And some of my favorites include Flow Rida, so you got some heavy competition there, okay? So but it's all good. So, so I'm going to go through the basics and tell you how you can work this class. Okay. Now, one of the big things on this class is communication, and you're going to get a lot of it. I'm going to send out a lot of texts. I'm going to send out a lot of emails. Some of those are going to include links to the recordings of the class, things like that. And the reason why I do that is I want to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, when things are due, or if something breaks in the class, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Don't do this. Okay? Everybody got that? Hey, Aaron. And so nice hat. Thank you for your service there. And so pay attention. One of the big giveaways when I know people don't pay attention to the emails and the text is when, like 30 minutes later, I get a question, hey, how do I do this or that? And I've just sent that out in a text or an email. So please read those things. This is an online class. That's the way I communicate with you. So I try to share things with you. Obviously, if you have questions or whatever, please email, text me. Okay. I'm not going to slam you and say, hey, da 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 da. But pay attention to those things, okay? Also, if you do miss the live session, the recording, that's your class lecture. And when we do these projects starting next week, I go through them step by step, okay? I'm going to show you everything you need to do in this class. I give you everything you need to do in this class. And I don't know about you, but I've taken those classes where you have no idea what's going on and they don't tell you what to do. And that's a scary feeling, not knowing what to do or, uh, excuse me, your microphone is on and now it's not. Okay. So, anybody, when you come in, make sure your microphone's muted because we don't need to hear that. All right. It's like walking into a real classroom live and just blurting things out. So please don't do that. All right? Respect goes a long way every way. Okay? So getting back to that. So you're going to have everything you need to have in this class. Okay? And some people go, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know. It's school. This is how we learn. Ref. Okay, Raphael, your mic came unmuted and we couldn't understand anything you were saying, so I muted your mic back. So I don't know if you're trying to say something there, but it wasn't coming through. So if you could type that down in the chat box or figure out what's going on with that mic there. Okay. So, That's the point in this class, is that you're going to learn, and we're going to go through everything. All right, any questions so far? If everybody's good, let's see those emojis. Look for those thumbs up. That's how I know that you're out there and you're not just signing in and walking away. Yeah, I've done a few online classes. I know people like to sign in, walk away, things like that. If you're going to do that, just log off and wait for the recording. All right. You don't have to pretend. It's real life. Okay. I got you. Okay. So here we go. We're going to do some sharing here because as we go through this, obviously we get through it. We're done. Right? Everybody good? Okay. And so here we go. So I'm going to do some screen sharing here. And here we go. And it should be popping up on your screens depending on how fast your system is working. All right. Now I'm going to change my screen here so it looks like yours. This is a view as student. And so there's some things on the screen. If you watched that welcome video that I sent the link to, and I hope you did, it explained a lot of this stuff. Okay. And so there's some stuff that I strongly recommend you do and don't do. And one of the things that I recommend you don't do is this to-do list. Okay. Some people look at this and go, oh, this is what I need to do over here. Wrong. Okay. If you go a little ways into one of these assignments, it's going to drop off this list and you may not have finished it. So I recommend you ignore that. Okay. But there are some things over here, one of them being your grades. Check your grades frequently to see what is in here, how your grades are doing. And if you think I made a mistake on the grades, I'm not perfect. And how you look at me and you go, he's perfect. Look at him. Movie star material, right? I know that was the first thing you thought of. Look at that long flowing hair, right? And if it didn't show up on that screen the way I described myself, you might want to get your computer checked out. All right. So go in here, check your grades. If you think something isn't right, bring it to my attention. I assure you it's not deliberate, but I'm a human. I do make mistakes. But over on the right hand side, you'll see a breakdown on how things are scored. You'll notice that things are very even across the board. This is good and bad. That means that you don't have things like a final exam that if you mess that up, all your work in the class is for no good. But at the same time, it means you need to do all the assignments in the class. Everything is pretty balanced. You can't skip this and just do that. Does everybody understand that? Everything matters in this class. Okay? You can't just come in and do the final exam and pass the class without doing all the other work. It doesn't work that way. You need to do the assignments. The other thing is you can't skip assignments and have, extra credit. The assignments are the assignments. Everybody gets the same thing. There aren't extra credit points. Okay, that's the way real work is. You don't go in and say, hey, I don't want to do this work. I want to do this instead. That's not reality. Okay, everybody's work and everybody's job. How many people have things on the job that we don't like, but we have to do? We all have that. I guarantee you there's things about my job here that I have to do that I don't like, but we have to do them. So we're going to do them, we're going to get through them, and you're going to excel at it. All right? Positive attitude gets you through everything because we got to go through it anyway. So come in here, check these out. Now, we use an ebook. We use an online book called SimNet. Now, SimNet will show that something may not be turned in, but you will have a grade. As long as you have a grade, you're good. Okay? But it may not be listed under submitted, but you will have a grade. That's because Canvas and third-party books don't always talk the same way. Okay? If you have any questions as to if something's there, you're good. Now, let's talk about phones and that Canvas app, right off the bat, phones are not supported. Okay? You got something showing up on a phone in the Canvas app? Oh, well, they're not supported. It's not supported by Southern Tech, period. Okay? Phones do not work with our SimNet book, period. Okay? In this course, you will need to have a PC, a Mac, or a Chromebook to do the book. Okay? Everybody got that. Okay? That is a requirement for the course. If you do not have one of those, you go to the campus to use one. Okay? It doesn't matter if you have an Apple phone or if you have an Android phone and you're like me, you're going to spend, forever and a day paying that $12 million and 99 cents for the latest and greatest because now it can have one extra filter and now your emojis are cuter, right? We all got that. And now your battery is going to last 3.7 seconds longer. We all want it. We all got it because it comes in another color. It still won't work. Okay, the publisher of the book will flat tell you it doesn't work. It's the operating system. And if you're having problems and I go and I check, it will tell me that you're coming in with an Android operating system or you're coming in with an iOS operating system. Okay, and I can't help you. It's not because I don't want to, it's because I can't. Okay, it just won't work. Now, is anybody planning on using an iPad, not an Android tablet? Android tablets, the operating system won't work. But is anybody planning on using an iPad? Any iPad users out there? Because I got special instructions for y'all if you do. Anybody? Okay, no iPad users. If anybody's planning on using it, and you can do this, I strongly recommend an external keyboard so that you have space because when you're using the on-screen instructions, etc., that on-screen keyboard gets in the way and it doesn't have all the keys you may need. All right, that's number one. The other thing, if your keyboard has the touchpad already in it, that's perfect. If not, get yourself a Bluetooth mouse. Trust me, it'll make things much easier. I use an iPad along with Chromebooks, Macs, and PCs with this system all the time. They all work great as long as you're using those combinations. If you're using a Chromebook or if you're using the iPad, do not use the Canvas app. Okay, everybody got that? Do not use the Canvas app. You may have to delete the Canvas app if you're on a Chromebook. But what you're going to do is you're going to go here to the portal.southerntech.edu and go in Chrome and go to the portal and come into your class through this one right here, the student login. Okay? If you go through the Canvas app on a Chromebook or through the iPad, it's the same problem as trying to go through on a phone. It's not going to work properly. Okay? So save you the problem. As far as browsers, Chrome works the best. It's not because I get royalties from Chrome or anything. Chrome works best with all these, with Canvas and with SimNet. Then from there, if you are on an Apple system, then use Safari. If you're on a PC-based system, then use Edge. Some people are wanting to use different forms of Opera. It is not functioning well at all. So I strongly urge you do not try to use any form of Opera. Okay? Has everybody got that for browsers? Yes? Looking for those emojis? So we're all good there. So you shouldn't have any issues as far as those are concerned. All right? So we're all good. We're all up. We're all running. Okay, if you need to do one-on-one help, there's a spit right there. It says book time with, click that. And what will happen is it's going to open up this thing that says bookings with me. And you'll sign in here. And your login for anything Microsoft here is the same as going into Canvas. It's your student ID. It is your student ID and password, and that will get you into any of the Microsoft items, okay? And then what it'll allow you to do is it'll let you set up an appointment for one-on-one, just like this. We'll go in and we can share a session. If you set up an appointment, please keep the appointment. Okay, I had one person that we had an issue with that last month that kept setting up appointments and purposely not doing it, but it was also blocking appointments from other students besides me having to set time up for them, and we took care of that situation. All right, so please feel free to utilize that, but don't abuse that in a way as either to cause issue with me or to block other students, but utilize that if you need it. All right, so that's something you can do there. This shows how we're going to go through each week, and then to get to your assignments, we're going to go right here to modules. Oh, do not go to your book through here. People think that that's the best way to do it. It's a lot harder to get to your assignments to go through that way. I have all the links inside the modules for you. So we're going to go right here. The welcome video, if you didn't see it, I didn't find the link in the email that I sent to your student email or your personal address or the text I sent you, you can find it right there. Obviously, you found the live session here. Once we have this class, what happens is I download the recording and I'll send it over to YouTube. YouTube will process it, and then I will put the link here. I'll send those links out to you via email and text. And where this is important is if something comes up and you miss the live class, or like when I start doing the walkthroughs on the projects and you want to go back to those recordings, you'll be able to come in here, click that, and these will turn red as I add them in, and you'll be able to click and it'll take you directly to the YouTube link to that video, and you can watch it and you can pause it, etc. So that's how you'll be able to rewatch those when you're doing the projects. Okay. Anything you need help with on how to get attendance the first day, how to connect your book, um, those with a Chromebook, you don't have standard function keys. So how to do function keys when those come up in the assignments, this is how you do them on a Chromebook. If you click on that, so that's how you access that. If you have a Mac, Macs can be a little bit different as well. This tells you how to do those to get it to work the way a PC does. And PCs obviously don't have that issue because they are designed to use function keys. Okay. Questions on discussions, those are there. When you go to download or save projects, here's added instructions. I tried to give you everything that you need, and you can also set up an appointment there if you didn't want to do it on the front page. Everybody good so far? We're hanging in there, rolling through so we can get to the meat of everything here. Okay, so today, attendance. Everybody has to have attendance for the first day, and I want to make sure you get it. So there's two things you have to do. One is this online honor pledge. Every online student has to do this every time they take an online class. And you click take the quiz, which makes it sound very ominous. The first question, what that means is no one's doing the class for you. It sounds different with the way they word it, but that's what it means. So you say, I agree, no one's taking it for me. Now this long question here, basically what it says, I know that I'm going to use a Mac, PC, or Chromebook. There, Windows, Mac, Chromebook. Okay. And if you do not have your own system, you go to the campus Monday through Friday. You agree to that. If you don't agree to that, you can go talk to your campus, okay? I cannot fix that for you. I just have to let them know and you will talk to them. This is a required class for your course. That's something you're going to have to discuss with them because it is a requirement, okay? I'm not going to debate that with you. That's between you and them, all right? Then you submit that quiz. You do get points for that as well. So it's not like it's a lost thing. We're going to go back to the modules. And then the other thing that you have to do is just introduce yourself. Because if you notice, your week 1 is grayed out. Unless you complete those, you cannot get into the rest of your course as well. So you do introduce yourself, and this is your first taste of a discussion. Only it's a little bit easier than a regular one in that what you do is tell us a little bit about yourself and why you chose this career and how you think computer skills will help. Now, this question has changed over the years because I've been teaching this course here for 7, going on 8 years at Southern Tech. And in the trades, I've seen this evolve. 8 years ago, computers in the tech fields was very, very different. You had Office over here in some tech areas, and you had the people working in the shops. Now they've kind of moved together, and a lot of the equipment in the shop has become much more technical. And then they thought, well, we can hire programmers to program these pieces of equipment in the shop. And that didn't work because the people they were hiring had no idea what these pieces of equipment really were for. And then they started thinking, you know what? We need to train the people who use these pieces of machinery anyway on how to automate this and do this because we still need their expertise. We don't need to replace them. We need to utilize them to use these properly. Okay, so that's what they did. And they also are doing this in medicine. So those of you that are in MAs and vet techs, because this class is unique. It's not just welders in here. It's not just HVAC in here. It's not just electrical in here. It's also medical assisting. It's also vet techs. This class has everybody in it, and it's not just Orlando. It's Orlando. It's also Auburndale. It's also Tampa. It's also Sanford. We have people from all of our campuses in this class. So you're representing not only your career, but your campus at the same time. So shout out to everybody. Woo, woo. Yeah. And you're not just a student in this class. I want you to start thinking of yourself as that professional. Because when I hear y'all talk on the campus, because I do go to the campuses, because I've taught on campus at most of these, I hear people say, oh, I'm just a student. How many people have used that phrase? I'm just a student, or I'm only a student. Have you ever caught yourself using that phrase? Because I've heard it. I want you to start thinking, I am an electrician. I am an HVAC technician. I am this. Because when you start thinking of yourself that way, you're going to look at yourself differently and you're going to present yourself differently. You're going to start elevating yourself because you are becoming that profession. Does everybody understand that? In high school, last time I used that, awesome, Aaron. You are that profession. You are that professional. So start moving yourself into that. Start grasping that concept because there's a big thing. I don't know if you've heard it. Some people have imposter syndrome. Anybody heard of imposter syndrome? Where people think that they don't have the ability or the capacity or the skills to be where they are. And this will help eliminate some of that. You do have the skills, the ability, and you are where you should be. All right? So there we go. That's my little pedestal speak there. I'll step down, although I don't like to do that because it makes me short again. All right? So come in here, think about that, click reply, and I'm just going to type in welcome everybody because I need to make that short. And you click reply. Obviously, your answer is going to be longer. And then once I do that and I go back to the modules, what's going to happen is now I can get into my week one. Okay, you cannot go beyond week one. They won't let us open all the weeks because that's part of your certifications. It's also part of your degree programs, and it's part of what we are legally obligated. We cannot have you complete the whole course in 1 week, etc. All right. So 1 week at a time. The exception will be when we get down to week 4. I get to open week 4 on the Friday inside week 3. And that's because week 4 ends on a Thursday, and that couple days shorted, I'm allowed to open that a little early. All right. So this week, there's only a couple of due dates, and there's a reason for that. All your assignments will always open on Monday. 12:01 a.m. we will open. Okay, everybody got that? 12:01 a.m. your assignments open. Sunday, midnight, everything locks. Okay, you tried to turn something in right after midnight? Uh-uh. Everybody got that? That's a technical term. Uh-uh. You can Google that. It's like, what does uh-uh mean? It's a technical term that means you can't do that. Okay? So, but in that time period, on Wednesday, your first post needs to be in that week 1 discussion. This week will be on AI. The other thing is on Thursday, we will do an attendance. Okay? Everybody got that? Thursday will be your next attendance. You will have to have one of these assignments completed by Thursday for that attendance. Okay? Any one of these assignments, not the connect your book, but the chapters, the quiz, or a discussion. Okay? The live class is only on Mondays at 7 o'clock. Yes, it is. Okay? So you will have to complete one of these assignments by Thursday midnight to get that Thursday attendance. All right? You can complete everything as fast as you want. Has everybody got that? I have one person that will complete everything by tomorrow. At least one. This one I know for sure will have everything completed by tomorrow. They'll be done with the week. Boom, boom, boom. That's perfectly fine. They'll say, check to make sure I've got everything done. I'll check, and then I'll say, yep, you are done. See you Monday. How many people like that idea? Be done that good. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Next week's going to be have a little more stuff, but you can do that. And I will check your attendance and boom, boom, boom. Okay? You must get things done before due dates to gain attendance. All right? And I will remind you, you have to have one of these done by Thursday to gain attendance. You miss attendance, you cannot gain attendance back. Okay? And think about that logic. If you're not there on Tuesday in a real classroom, you can't come in and on Wednesday and say, okay, everybody, let's go back in time so I can get attendance. You can't turn back time. You're not Cher. And I know I'm not Cher, and I am not putting on that skimpy little outfit because there's laws against that, I'm sure. And I don't think that would be really comfortable for anybody. Okay? So we ain't doing that. Okay? Now, there's happy people about this class and unhappy people. And let me explain the happy people. The happy people do the assignments. They get the attendance, they get the points. All right? We like happy people. Then you have the unhappy people. They don't do the assignments. Then they're mad they don't get the points. Then they're mad they don't get the attendance. And then they go looking for someone to blame. Here's the hint. If they look in the mirror, they'll find the person to blame. Okay? You don't get points if you don't do the assignment. You don't get attendance if you don't do the assignment. There's a pattern here. Okay? You have to do the assignments. That's how you do the learning. This may not be your favorite class. It's a necessary class. Okay? We meet with people who are doing the hiring in all these careers. This tech is not going anywhere. Okay? How many people have heard of AI? We've all heard of AI, right? AI is going to do this. AI is going to do that. AI is going to do that. I want AI to mow my yard. I want AI to pay my bills. I want all the stuff I want AI to do. AI don't want to do. Okay? So I've come to the conclusion AI is I, because apparently it only wants to do the things I already want to do. Here's the thing, and the best phrase I can tell you about AI. AI won't replace you. Everybody likes that, right? AI will not replace you. But the person who learns AI will. Has everybody got that? The person who learns AI will replace you, no matter what the career. Right now in HVAC, 40% of the HVAC companies are beginning to use AI in 2025 as of December. 40% of them. Think about that. Because it's being used in ways that you don't realize that you're actually using it. And every time you Google, every time you Siri, every time you Alexa, every time you do that, every time you get in your car and it's checking for lane changes, every time. So it's out there in ways that it's used. Students here at Southern Tech are doing it as well. Every time somebody uses ChatGPT to look up a response for things in the class, and we check. Right now, 70 to 80% of the students here at Southern Tech will use AI in part of their homework. I ran the numbers. Yeah, so this is the way things are going, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a, oh my God, this is a dire thing. We learn to work with it because it's not replacing you in a, oh my God, it's taking your job type thing. It's working with you. Okay, it's not a direct replacement. It's working with you and allowing you to work better. Okay, so I want you to think about that. Please don't think it's gloom and doom. So why am I bringing this up? So let's take a look at our first discussion. It's transforming many industries, but its impact is different. And I want you to think about how it's going to work hands-on professions, because hands-on professions are very, very different, right? Because there's a lot of physical involvement. And there's a lot of things that AI cannot do, period. Okay, it cannot do. Okay, number one, and Aaron, I agree. At the same time, I disagree with you and with myself. It's a strange way to say that, okay? Because one of the things AI still cannot do and will probably never get to that point, it cannot reason, right? It cannot reason because it works off of data, okay? Always has to work off of data, and it always has to work off of what we call algorithms. So it works off of math created by humans. Okay, so there's what's the common denominator there? It's dependent on humans always. So if it's dependent on humans always, we can never replace ourselves. So it's the skill of another person that's always going to be what replaces another person. So we want to be able to leverage at all times. But how does that work in welding? How does it work in HVAC? How does that work in electrical, veterinary, medicals? So I want you to see how it can work for you. Kind of. That's why I really don't like the phrase artificial intelligence, because it's not really smart. I can give you a whole bunch of facts and you can memorize those facts, but are you really smart? No, you just memorized it. That's exactly, Aaron, you hit it on the nose. It just is utilizing information. It's not smart. It's not intelligent. It's just combining. And you're going to love this. What does it do if it doesn't know something? Are you ready for something? Does everybody know a joke about 420? Everybody know the jokes about 420? Some people do, some people don't. If AI doesn't know something or data's missing, it hallucinates. That is the real phrase. That's what we call it. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. AI hallucinates. When it can't find all the information it needs, it looks at the information it has and it makes up the rest. So that's what it does. It hallucinates, kind of like what happens when people do things they really shouldn't with substances that they shouldn't have. It hallucinates. It makes it up, but it does it in such a way it sounds very believable. And that's why with AI, with all information that comes out of it, you have to be the person that interprets it and makes sure it's accurate. So this is why it will never really completely replace people. So this is why you have to be the smart person in the room. Got it? Because of that. It will make things up if it can't find all the information. And sometimes we know people who do that as well. They make things up if they don't know the information rather than say, I don't know. AI does not like to say, I don't know. It just makes something up. So that's what happens. But let's take a look at our question here. When you see how it can impact you, I want you to think of efficiency, safety, diagnostics. Think about things that it can do and do well. Like it can keep track of how often things need to be changed. It can send reminders. It can automate things. All these things it can do for you. So I've got this reference here. If you click this, you can read it, but the links from this page, they don't usually launch from here well. What you have to do is you actually have to download this to your system, and then these links will launch. But if you look, even the American Welding Society talks about AI in the welding process. And in these HVAC links that I've gone through and pulled these out, medical assisting veterinaries, you can actually see where it's being used now. So take a look at them. You don't have to read all of them, but just to get some ideas and think about how it comes into your career. Now, this is the way discussions work. Each week you're going to have a discussion and it requires 3 posts. Your first post, This is you answering all on your own, okay? Up to 20 points is what you'll get for that. What that means is you're not guaranteeing these points full if you don't do a good post, meaning your first post should be about 150 to 200 words. 7 to 10 sentences is about what that comes out. Now, I don't want you to just put in a bunch of filler information. It should be good information. And if it comes out 120 words, I'm not going to go, oh, well, you only had 120 words. I'd rather you have 120 words and it's good information than 30 words of extra garbage. Okay? The reason why it's in here as to how many words, because last month I started getting responses of 20 and 30 words. Okay, so unfortunately, had to change things up and require we need to have substantial information. Okay, then you're going to respond to another student. Okay, you're going to look at what everyone else is putting in there. And when you read something somebody else puts in there, you're going to click reply under their post, kind of like on a Facebook or social media thing, and you're going to respond to them. Okay, and everybody's going to see what you put. It's not like it's a private message. And that's approximately 50 words, which is about 3 to 4 sentences, which really isn't much to type. That's also going to be up to 20 points. Your last one, this will be your third post. It's going to be on another student. And this one will be 60 points. Your last post is the big one because you've already posted 1, 2, and now your third one. When you complete this one, if you've done all of these well, you will have a total of 100 points. Does everybody understand how that works? All right. Clear professional language, spelling, grammatical errors, okay? As you're typing these things, it will also pop up things, as far as in checking for spelling errors, things like that. Watch things like capitalizing and periods, things like that. This is not texting, okay? So try to help yourself out there. Now, how many people would rather talk than type? Do I have anybody that would rather talk than type? Because like most things, if you come in here, when you click reply right here, you do have the ability to come over here where there's this little play button. If you click that, you'll see this upload record media. You can come in here, click record, and right there you can turn on a mic. You do not have to turn on your webcam. You can just turn on your mic, click start recording, and you can record audio, and it will show a little thing in here, say reply, and you can record your audio. So you can do that as well. You can also upload a Word document if you'd rather type it into that, or you can cut and paste. Okay? And once you have those in, you'll see I'll grade throughout the week. If you only have one in there and you see a score of 20, know that when I come back through, okay, so you don't get points, Jamiris, for coming to the live class. You'll get them for doing those 2 assignments before midnight. Okay, there you go. So go find a place to plug in your phone. Okay, for the initial post, will there be a rubric breakdown? How many points are awarded or subtracted? Yes. So there is a rubric, and so you will see that in the grading and all that, there is an actual rubric that shows the points that are available and how it is. So if I go through and you've only done one post and I put 20 points in, you'll see the whole rubric there. Then if I come back through and I notice you've put in the additional 2 points or 2 posts in there, I will change that 20 points, and that the final post or grades on a discussion are not final until after Sunday. Okay, Sunday at midnight, that's when the grades will start to be final. I put in the final grades Monday morning. Okay, so Nathan, your grades really are not final until then. Okay, so yeah, it's exactly what I can do here. Give me 1 second. I will show you on the rubric exactly what that looks like. So you can see that. Can you see that over here on the side? I don't know if it's big enough on your screen. So 1 post, it's a good start to your discussion posting. 2 more posts are required to complete the assignment and attain full potential. This grade will be updated as you continue posting. Okay, and the same thing basically for 2 posts, and then 3 posts. Assignment has been completed. Total points have been allocated based on the quality of the post. It's evaluated on relevancy, originality, and knowledge added. So I want everybody to have fair opportunity. And again, if you think something was graded unfairly, please ask me about it. Absolutely. These are your grades. This is your education. At any point you are in a class, my class or other, and you don't agree with something, bring it to the instructor's attention. If that does not work, go to the Dean of Education at the campus. As a student, and there I go saying student, but as a student at that campus, you have the right to be heard. Okay, I'm very pro student as far as that comes to mind, because this is your career and future. Okay, I'm very adamant about that. I went to a trade college. I worked at a Denny's and a Walmart. When I went to school, I slept in my car before classes. I've been in situations that were less than desirable, and I admire every one of you for taking the steps you're taking. Okay? I think that some of you have a much more difficult situation than I was in, and I applaud you for what you're doing and the changes you're making. So take every opportunity to do things to the best you can. And if someone is not doing something properly, or you think your grade is not calculated properly, bring it to someone's attention. Always give them the opportunity to correct something that they may have mistakenly done. But if that's not resolved, bring it to someone else's attention. Okay? Always do that. Okay? Do it the proper channels, proper way, but always move yourself forward. All right? Okay, so that's how you will do those discussions. And you don't have to do a bunch of research for these discussions. I want you to answer them with your thoughts, your thinking. Okay? So, what do you do if you can't think of anything? Well, next week, I'm going to show you how to use a little bit of AI to help you out with that, okay, when we're doing that. Yes, you can complete all assignments. Yes, you can. All right. So how do you get to your book? Well, we're going to start by going to our first assignment right here, which is our first chapter. Even though these are the instructions, I'm going to show you the quickest way to do it. We're going to click right here. This is the first time connecting to the book, so it's going to ask me if I need to create a new account. Yes, there's my name, test student, my email. Put in your student ID so it can connect to Canvas. So I'm going to put in that email address. If you don't know your information, there's a place on the student portal to have that reset and do create account. And what that's going to do is that's going to set the link up to your book. Okay, now we're not going to go right here. I'm going to scroll down a bit here. And what this will do is it's got a few things here. You'll see 0% complete, 0/13. That means there's 13 items here to complete for this chapter. Okay, now this is an interactive book and it saves as you go. You do not have to submit anything, it saves as you go. If you do one thing and your power goes out, your internet goes down, nothing is lost. Okay, it's saved at the last thing you did, so you can come right back in and continue. This also allows you to do a few things, quit, come back later. Now, here's the thing. People will bring this up. I wasn't finished and they already gave me a grade. Yes, it grades as you go. So as soon as you do one thing, your overall grade's going to go boom, way down. Okay? Why? Because your grade on this assignment will be like a 2% or a 3%. So your overall grade's going to drop. No problem, Francisco. I saw you there. Uh, so your overall grade's going to drop because that's your current grade. And then you do the next item and your grade's going to go up and your overall grade's going to go up. So don't panic when you see your grade drop every time you start a chapter. All right, everybody got that? So your grade's going to drop every time you start a chapter. Can't stop that, but it's going to go up. Also, if you look at your grade on a chapter and it's not 100%, that means you didn't do it all. You missed something. Go back in and correct it, okay? And if you reasonably try one of these items in here and you can't get it, go to the next item in the chapter. Like if I can't get 3 and I've tried it over and over and I'm not getting it, go to number 4. Number 4 isn't harder because it's number 4. They're all the same difficulty. It's just the next item you're doing. Okay. You make it with your school email. If you make it with your normal email, your grades will not transfer. Okay. And then when we clear it, you'll have to redo them. All right. So, and what do you do about the item you missed? You're going to send me an email or a text and say, Mr. Haley, I'm in the intro chapter. I tried item number 3 multiple times. I'm not getting it. Can you help me? And I'm going to send something back and say, no, not really. I'm going to say, let me take a look at it. Okay. The burden is off you. Don't stress. The only time you should be banging your head on that desk is if you're listening to incredible heavy metal music. And when I say incredible heavy metal music, I'm talking about Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. I like Disturbed as well. Korn's okay, but not my favorite. I'm not a juggalo, so I'm not really them. Alice Cooper, I love Alice. And so I like more of the older school type stuff, you know. I also like the hair bands, although I don't have hair. So if you're not banging your head to heavy metal music, don't do it for this class. Got it? Okay. So, you know, I do like Hailstorm a lot. That's one that I like. Ginger is another one. So the, there's some that I really like out there, some newer ones. I do like Lacuna Coil, who's going to be at House of Blues. So there's some other ones. Insane Clown Posse, I can't get into them because I am terrified of clowns. True story. We won't get into that, but I do have a strange fear of clowns. So anyway, so don't stress over not being able to get one of these. Okay. Now, if you could tell me I can't get number 3, I can't get number 4, I can't get number 5, I can't get number 6, I'm going to say you can't get no help. You need to go back, slow down, and pay attention to what it's really asking you. Okay. Because something isn't right there. You're trying to go too fast. Maybe log out, figure something out, but just slow down. Something is stressing you out and you're kind of in a loop there. Sometimes your best thing to do is step away and then come back. All right. So I've done this a lot of years. I know you're thinking, gosh, he's only 21, right? If you don't think that, you failed the course. But sometimes your best bet, step away for a minute and then come back because you're stressing yourself. Exactly. Aaron failed class, film at 11. So let's see exactly what we do now that we're in here. So we're going to click on the first one and it brings you straight in. Now I've set this up so we skip all the reading. How about that? We're going right to what you need to pay attention to in this book. This is why I have you come in and click, because I took all the other part out. It's still there in the book, but I want you to see what you need to do, what you need to learn without having to scroll through all the stuff you don't need to pay attention to. So right here, this is what you're going to do. This part here gives you the background on everything, and you're welcome to read that. But how many people are hands-on and you just want to work and do the stuff and get out? And if you want to do that, then I've got 3 choices for you here. Show Me will show you what to do in a video form. Guide Me walks you through step by step, and these 2 are optional. You do not have to do them. They are there to help you. The Let Me Try, this is the one you have to do. This gets you the points, and that's what allows you to move on. So we're going to start with the Show Me, and it has a big play button here, and I don't know if I enabled the video or the audio for this, so you may not hear it, but when you click it, okay, so you've seen this little cursor moving around, and if the audio was there, you heard it. So it's showing you what it wants you to do. So it wants you to click an Office app right here and pin it down here. So it's walking you through video-wise as to what to do, and it's telling you. Now, if you play this all the way through, that box will get a check mark there, and then it'll ask you to continue, and it will take you to the Guide Me. Well, if I don't want to watch the whole thing, I can just click on Guide Me, and this would be the same as clicking on that box on the other screen. And now it's going to walk you through exactly what it showed you. Click the Start button. Well, the Start button is here on Windows 11. So I click there. It says that's correct. Now click Next. And now it wants us to click Word, because that's what we're going to do, is we're going to pin it. And it says you've completed the Guide Me. And so we say Close. So you can see when you complete one of these, you get a check mark. Okay, but that didn't finish it. I'm going to do the Let Me Try. And it says launch Microsoft Word from the start. Now, if we would have watched the whole video, or we remember what we did from the Guide Me, you click here, you find Word, boom, and it launched Word. Now I click Close, and I have a green checkbox. If I come up to the right over here, you'll see this little arrow going out of the box. Click that. It says, are you sure you want to exit? Yes, I do. And I'll take you back here. Okay, I've completed 1 out of 13. That's 8%. I have a check mark. Okay, That's how you know you completed that item. You do not have to exit after every one of these. I'm just showing this to you. And if I come up here and I go back to my tab here, and if I go to my grades, you will see right here, boom, 7.69%. My grades are already back in Canvas, okay? That's how quick your grades transfer. Most of the time they will move that quickly, okay? So I've already done that. Now, if I go back to the modules, just like a long time's passed or just a few minutes, and I come back to that chapter and click on it, go back into it, only this time I didn't have to re-input my connection. It goes right back in here. I see that I finished that one. I just go to the next one, click on it, and I'm ready to do the next one. Now, if you don't like the video, you don't have to watch it. I can go straight to the guide me, and it says, click the File tab. So when you're looking at any type of screen for a Microsoft program, these things at the top here, these are called tabs because they used to actually look like the tabs on paper folders. So those are called tabs, where it says clipboard, font, paragraph, and styles. Those are called groups. And these little squares with the arrows in the corner here, those are called dialog launchers. So when it gives you instructions, if it says a tab, you look up here. If it says group, you look here. And if it tells you to click the dialog launcher, look for a square in the corner. All right, so it says File tab, so we go here, and then it says Next, then click Open, so we find the Open, then Next, and then find Browse. So that's what we're looking for here. So we find Browse, and then Next, and then click the SPA newsletter file, Next, and then the Open. So that's what it wants us to do, is to open that. And on this one here, then File, and Next, then Open, and next we're working our way down, and then the SPA newsletter document. And we completed the guide me. Now, if I click continue, it'll go to the let me try, and you just continue on. And if I am done, I would just get out of it. That's how you work a chapter. Now, if I got in here and I didn't want to do the guide me, I could jump straight to the let me try. And then if it got too much, you can jump back to the guide me. You can also go to the show me. You can go back and forth. Any of these you can jump to here. You can also go here to see if it gives you more help. So you can work this the way you need to. You can customize that learning any way you want. Are there any questions about the how to work a chapter? Everybody's good? All right. So the average time to work a chapter is anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes on a full chapter. So you can break that up, make yourself comfortable. Anyway, this is what does not work on phones. Okay, so don't try to do that on a phone, please. It'll just cause you issues. The last assignment you have for the week is the quiz. And when you click on the quiz, you'll click Take Exam. You can have 3 full chances at the quiz, 17 questions. If you go in and start the quiz and get out, that does use up one of your chances. You have to say, I agree, no one else is taking this for me. You click Start the Exam, and it looks very much like your chapters. The difference being is you do not have a hint over here, which we wanted, and read the questions carefully. Like this is close the document without exiting Microsoft Word. So here, if you click here, that will actually close Word. So you would have to go to here and close. And that would actually close the document versus closing Word. Now, in this one, if you didn't know what you were doing and you click somewhere and you kept clicking and you got it wrong, look here. It shows you the hint. Now, the hint actually gives you the steps you need to solve it. This is where you can use that phone. Pull it out. You paid for that thing. Don't take a selfie. We know you're beautiful. We don't need any more pictures of you. All right? Take a picture of this. Don't hit continue until you take a picture of this. Follow the steps. All right? It's not cheating. Real life, you can Google things. You can ask a friend. Okay? You can ask coworkers. In here, you can't. Take a picture of this. You still have to know how to do these steps. Has everybody got that? You still have to know how to do the work following these steps. Once you have that, or you write that down, if your phone runs out of charge, click continue. No, you can use the hint in the chapters as much as you want, and you have unlimited tries in the chapter. The point in the chapter, you have to complete them. All right, Nathan? In here, once you do this, you notice you only have 5 attempts for each one of these items. So in the quiz, you do have a limited number of items. Okay. Once you finish doing the quiz, you do have to click submit and then submit again. And you'll find out that everything in SimNet's a tattletale. It tracks every keystroke you do. Just like Canvas, if you could log into Canvas and think that you're making us look like you're doing something by going left, right, this, that, it tracks every keystroke. Okay. If you're not going to do any work in Canvas, don't log in. Okay. Do not log in. Okay. Only log in if you're going to do work. If you're just logging in to try to make it look like you're doing something, you're too busy. Go do what you need to do and then come back and do work because you're only going to get attendance if you complete something. So if you're just moving around, you're not going to get attendance. You're not going to get a grade. So don't log in just to look busy. All right? Please use your time wisely. Okay? So if you're just doing that, don't. In SimNet, it tracks everything. So if you say, I think I should have got that right, I'm going to come in, I'm going to look and see exactly what you did versus what it wanted. You may have misread it, but I'll see what you read and I'll see what you did. And what you would have misread versus what you did, you might get the point. Okay, does everybody understand that? If I can see what your logic was versus what you did, I might still be able to give you the point. Okay, so if you have questions, even on quizzes, things like that, ask, always ask. Opportunities out there, but you have to make those work for you. There's no harm in asking if you think something's legit. Now, if it said click the red button and you spun 4 times in your chair, no, no. You can't do that, okay? Be reasonable, all right? And that's how you do the quiz. Now, if something happened, your system totally crashed and you were halfway through this, don't take the whole quiz over. Contact me because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to see what you did, and most likely I'll say do 8 questions and then let me know when you've got there, and I'm going to combine the two for you. All right. This is why you communicate with me. Let me know what's going on, because I'm not going to have you do the whole thing over again. All right. Everybody got that? I don't believe in you just doing busy work or doing work over. That's not the kind of person I am. All right. So that's how you would do your quiz. So we have gone over everything you need to do for the week. You don't have things due daily. You're going to learn how to manage your time, and that can be difficult because when you're in classes daily, classes are 4 hours a day is what you're typically supposed to do. This for the week, when people say, oh, I didn't have enough time to do this and this and this, remember, 4 hours a day typically is what classes are supposed to be, 16 hours. This is way under that this week. You're going to have more stuff next week, okay? Still not 16 hours by any means, but do not do things like take on a ton of extra hours or do this or don't think you're got to do this or that. And certainly don't think you can get everything done Sunday night at 10 o'clock. All right? Plan your time, think ahead, and get things done. And you can do this. And if you have questions, ask. All right? Okay, so to get a hold of me, right here, if you want to book time, you can get a hold of me here. And I think right here on the welcome email, I'm looking to see if this has the text number is right here for 863-260-7727. And there's my email address right there, rhaley@stc.edu. And that you can all get right here where it says welcome email. That information's right there. Okay. So if you lose any information, you can get it right there from the welcome email. Click here. That's an easy way to find it right there. Just click on there and scroll right down to the bottom. Okay. So right there. Okay. Everybody good there? All right. Any other questions? No, I can't give lottery numbers out. I wish I could. If I won the lottery, I'd give everybody pictures of me with my money. And I appreciate all your messages and thoughts in those discussions. Your original thoughts in those are really important because so many times we are told, you know, keep your information, your opinions, things like that. I really want to hear your thoughts in those discussions. All right. Yes. Oh, that's a good one. So let me show you this real quick. So we will do projects in here where you get access to 365 from the student portal. Click right here on 365. And what will happen is you will get a login screen. I've been in, so you won't get it, but you'll get a flash page here that will appear, and it'll ask you for a login information. Use the same information as you do for Canvas. Same login ID and password. If you get the screen, look for something. Mine always appears way down here for apps. Click on that. You'll see apps that appear somewhere on your screen. And if you click more apps wherever that appears, you will see all your apps that you're available to you. And if you click all apps, wherever that appears, you'll see all the ones you have. And that includes Excel, PowerPoints on there, Word, and all those. And everything is free for you as long as you're a student at this school, not just this class. So you have access to Word, you have access to Excel, you have access to all of those things as long as you're a student at Southern Tech, not just this class. You can use them in all classes and you can use them for anything that you need to. So go in there and test that out. We're going to be doing Word next week, then Excel after that, and we finish with PowerPoint because PowerPoint's the more fun of them all. All right, so you have free access to it. Make sure you log in though with your student ID password like you do Canvas, so it is free. All right, any other questions? Nope. Okay, make sure you get those two things in so you get attendance for tonight. You have until midnight tonight to finish those. All right. All right, that's it. I will see you online. I will send the link out to the recording as soon as YouTube is finished with it. All right. Y'all have a great evening and let me know if you need anything. That's it. You too, Nathan.